So a few years ago, you bought a Volkswagen or an Audi TDI, and now Volkswagen has to buy it back from you. So what are you going to do with all that money they give you? That's today on After Drive. Hey, welcome to After Drive. We're talking Dieselgate money today. So you're getting your Dieselgate check. What do you buy with it? Because, of course, you wanted a diesel car. That's why you bought one. But what do you do now? You can't buy a diesel car.
No,
what do you buy? Mike and Zach from Manhattan Classic Car Club. Classic Car Club Manhattan.
We know. Everybody
How
knows
did I
who you're
get
talking
that
about.
backwards after all this time that we've been sitting in these chairs?
I don't know.
Okay, so this is a Zach show. Zach came up with this idea. He's actually got some background in this.
Right. Yeah. So to give a bit of background, these days I've been too busy to do much of the dealer stuff. But at the peak of my dealer activity, I was always focused on cars that had some appeal, suited my use. I have two young kids, live in the city. I need to get somewhere and like to have something that's decent drive, and I thought I had a bit of a niche, so I'd have a bit of a specialty market. So a lot of European wagons. Yeah. And then the niche of the niche was the Volkswagen diesel Jetta wagon. I probably helped half a dozen people buy those cars. So anyways, when people came to me and they're like, oh yeah, I saw the special on like a Fiat 500 and I think I put my baby seat in the back of it and I get a free parking space. I'm like, no. Mm-hmm. You can't put a baby seat in the back of a Fiat 500 and you need to buy a Volkswagen Jetta diesel wagon because it's actually pretty useful and also for a small car, works pretty well in the city, but it's got great cargo space. There was nothing else like it. Nothing else you could buy for $25,000 that did that.
Right. And
got you 40 miles real world MPG on the highway.
And then Volkswagen, it came out that Volkswagen had two different maps. It had the map that when you were driving the car normally, it would set the engine computer for that setup. And then when it was being tested, it knew that was happening and it would change the mapping so the the emissions were a different profile.
So it turned out, a few of the factors that made the car so great were a lie. It does get great fuel economy. It does have amazing torque for a small four-cylinder car, and it makes it fun to drive. But the emissions part is where the lie was.
Right.
Anyway, so Dieselgate hit, and the half dozen people I had helped find these cars, and myself and the other 500,000 people who owned Volkswagen or Audi diesels in the U.S. felt betrayed that this, the dream they had been driving didn't actually exist because there was this kind of hidden flaw in the car. And now they look around and say, well, what can I buy? I'm getting this money. I have to give the thing back. I'm getting this money back. Not a bad deal, other than ruining the environment for a few years. But basically, the way the numbers work out, I forget exactly that. My brother-in-law is going to be my example in this. I helped him buy one 2013. I think it was $17,000 or $18,000. He's driven it for 3 or 4 years, put a lot of miles on it, commutes 50 miles each way every day, and he's getting back almost $18,000, like just shy of $18,000. So basically driven the car for free.
It's part of a $10 billion deal that Volkswagen has to pay. It's almost 500,000 cars in America.
Right. Yeah. So they get the pre-crisis.
Huge number.
It's pre-crisis price.
The logistics from a company of having to do that. It's a lot of cars to have to pay for and
then figure out what to do with. I guess they're going to go the crusher. We were just saying, come on, Volkswagen, let's just crush the motors and just put all the chassis in junkyards for us to put V8s in or something in the future. But for now, everyone has to give these cars back, and they're faced with what do you do with it? Because if you really get used to and depend on that mileage, he does. It saves him a lot of money every month, and he's comfortable with that. He is not like a diehard car enthusiast, but he's having to sit behind the wheel so much. He does like to enjoy driving, so he wants something dynamic, and he needs room for his two kids and their stuff, and doesn't really want to be an SUV guy. So where does that leave you?
That's the question.
Yeah. So I've been trying to help him, and I got some ideas.
Okay.
And I think we should debate kind of two angles of this. There's one, actually answering the question of what my brother-in-law does, who actually has a problem, and then And then let's kind of go down the road of like, well, f it, I've been betrayed by this emissions myth for years. I got $18,000, maybe I could spend up to mid-20s on it. What am I going to buy just to live life and enjoy it? So you're left with not much is the answer. There's almost nothing that does that kind of miles per gallon without being some kind of plug-in hybrid, electric, whatever. Basically, you can get a Prius.
Well,
right, which is...
This is the mileage angle, right?
Yeah. If you follow the mileage angle...
I think it's two things. It's miles, and I do think that there's a demographic of people who bought TDI engines who thought, I could do the mileage, and I could do the mileage because it's environmentally friendly as well. 1 gallon gets me this far. I think that they were also an environmentalist car, and those people are really upset.
Yeah.
That is a category of it, which is why I wouldn't just gloss over hybrids.
Yeah. The diesel owners are a very unique breed of car enthusiasts.
I mean, normally we wouldn't necessarily recommend hybrids to people. I mean, in most cases. I mean, there are other cases, where we might. But in this case, this is
that's
specifically
what you're thinking.
that.
If you want a commuter and you're not a driver like the three of us are, and you need to get from A to B, and you're worried about the environment, then go get one.
Right.
Yeah. So you'd end up with a Prius. I'm especially because I was drinking the diesel Kool-Aid for so long.
Gross.
I was always.
Sounds delicious.
It's delicious. Yeah. You guys are missing out.
That's a flavor that. It comes through the window.
Through the wall.
Diesel. Oh. The kids run. Like, what the hell is that?
Kids drink diesel.
I wanted grape.
This sounds like the only good idea for a Prius ad we've ever has ever been. Like, has any other Prius ad actually compelled you to buy one? No. If you had the diesel Kool-Aid guy. So we'll do that. Toyota, ring us up. We'll talk about that campaign later. But yeah, so you could go buy a Prius, and I'm historically a hybrid hater because it just seems like anytime you use the word hybrid, you're making something try to do two different things kind of okay, and neither of them that well. Yeah. Although I'll admit with hybrid Formula One cars now, we're ending up with some hybrid applications that are actually good for people like us. But the Prius,
torque fill.
Yeah, torque fill. Yeah, torque fill is awesome.
Yeah.
And in a very narrow window of a certain kind of commute, you can get exceptional miles out of some of these sporty hybrids, like an i8. If you're
Bronx to Brooklyn, for example.
Exactly.
Like, that's a really good.
BMW i8 on a fully charged battery, Bronx to Brooklyn, you could get 70 miles a gallon. It'd be amazing. But as soon as you go beyond that initial charge of the battery, you're back to 30 miles a gallon. You're hugging.
What about full electric? What about Chevy Volt?
Chevy Volt. That's one, to be fair, when I was digging in this, I totally dismissed. Chevy I think Volt. That would be a cool idea.
You get almost 300 miles range on that. I mean, it always depends on how you drive it, but that car, I haven't driven one, has been described as the car that current range anxiety does not really fit too much. And it's still I know a lot of people don't like electric cars. I actually do. You're in the most thing I hate about them is they always have to look foolish. Why does all right, this car's electric, so let's make it look stupid. Like, why can't it just look like a car? But
yeah,
you do have that
it's a
torque and all
CUV. It just it's getting way too close to the spelling of something else that someone that may drive one of those cars that looks like that.
It's not like the most. They made electric cars 100 years ago.
Like, you like electric cars because you get to drive cars like what the car behind us.
Well, listen,
but also they're just awesome.
I mean,
they're fun. All right, Tesla. Okay, but if you had to drive that every day, only a Tesla or. All right, I mean, Tesla's different because it's $100,000 and it's a little bit. But if
hang on a second, I don't drive TDIs either, so I'm like.
Right. Well, there you go. I'm sorry, not to put you in.
But I would rather drive a full electric car than a hybrid car. Because
me too.
Because I would geek out on the whole okay, I gotta drive let me not push the accelerator weirdly. I like
because OCD mic kicks in. It's like
which I'm normally not.
How long can I go on this?
But that
and then you start feathering the throttle and whatever you call it.
The accelerator.
Really rheostat or whatever.
Yeah.
But so anyway, okay. So
I think that's the answer for
how much? But a Chevy Volt's out of the price range though.
Well, I think they're $33, but then you get a $7,000 or a $5,000. tax bonus.
So
for it.
maybe,
You're kind of getting there. And I also don't think anybody's buying them. I feel that if you went into Chevy and you were like, listen, I'm going to give you 26 for this, they'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Nissan
When
Leaf.
you want to buy a car,
The Nissan Leaf, probably the ugliest car
and
made since the Pontiac
a golf
Aztec.
cart. That's a golf cart compared to.
But those
Volt.
cars, they were like 40 grand new, and they're like, they can't give them away used now. They're like 12 grand and no miles. Like,
they're ugly and they.
My brother drives one. He actually says it's because it has that little sliver of that instant torque delivery in a smaller package. It's fun to drive.
So I mean, the
Chevy
downside
Volt
of
might
that,
be a cool thing.
It
I
might
hadn't
be a
thought
cool
of
thing.
that.
The
That's my
downside of
vote.
that, okay. I mean, the downside of that is it requires a behavior change, right?
Yeah.
Other than I mean,
And it's hard if you live in a city like we do.
oh yeah, there's no way. What am I going to run the thing?
Do you know like Time Warner does? Just throw it over, throw it over
the
roof,
extension cord off the roof.
flop it down the front of your
Go
house.
down, yeah.
When
stick
the
it on
wind blows. you know?
I mean, I buy a
hot
parking space.
wire a street light.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
that'd be
Just pull up to the guys that have the TV set up in there.
There
like,
you go, like the old squatters. Yeah,
start
just
it up.
wire it to the streetlight.
I'm so into this now.
I mean, I buy my parking space from Mrs. Kaludi, and of course she's going to charge me, $65 an hour I mean, no offense, I love Mrs. Kaludi. She's the greatest
Sounds
owner
like you're
of.
backpedaling now. Sounds like you're backpedaling.
She's a
She don't sound
fantastic
so great.
person. I mean, she's a
Screw
great
you, Miss
parking
Coletti. Whatever your name
space
is.
owner. But I think that if I had to ask her to plug in, of course that would be an extra charge for the month.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a city problem. Though. If
Right.
you have your own garage, obviously that's not a problem.
Right.
Yeah, so current hybrid offerings probably don't do it for this guy, the guy that wants a decent driving car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe someday. Like Ford is starting to do the Ford Fusion Hybrid is a pretty good thing.
Right.
But it looks like a rental car sedan. Like it's not.
Yeah.
Porsche 918.
Yeah.
What about
Porsche,
that?
That would be a great daily driver, and you could probably get.
You could
your
totally
miles
get it for about, it's a little like 38 now.
Yeah. But
All right.
but,
So electric. What's the
what's next? So unfortunately, you got to throw the hard criteria for 40 miles a gallon out the window because there's nothing else that exists.
Right.
So then you start looking at what is like vaguely wagon-like, that's not really expensive, that also gets decent miles per
Oh,
gallon.
let me finish this thought.
And I love BMW wagons, love Audi wagons, love Mercedes wagons, all too expensive, you know, unless you get a fairly old one. But yes.
So my question is, I know he doesn't want an SUV, and I don't like SUVs either.
Yeah.
We've had a few diesel X5s.
Great. Yeah, those are
Incredible
really good.
range.
And cheap, yeah, that's a good one.
So you can.
Well, cheap, but then the maintenance obviously is going to be more because you're putting in that blue fluid stuff, stuff, But I mean, but you're right.
Like
I mean,
$1 million a
but
gallon, that stuff.
No, that's
Like
true.
washer fluid.
You could also just pee
It's a
in the
bottle
tank.
of pee.
It's
Yeah,
about just pee in it. Yeah. I mean, all right, but wait a
on
minute.
my block, there's pee everywhere. Free.
Just find the nearest cab driver and grab one of his water
Or
bottles.
he comes in a can.
So,
but it is an SUV though, and he doesn't want an SUV.
Well,
However,
what
put in the list.
about a BMW 3 Series wagon? Diesel.
Yeah, but even
Were they
secondhand one, 35 grand
Really?
probably, yeah.
Also, back to another statement that Zach says: everybody lies.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I like BMWs, clearly, but I don't know. What is the real emissions?
Well,
which is under review.
I think everyone does lie, and I think Volkswagen.
I don't.
Volkswagen has done it, unfortunately, in the most deliberate and probably one of the more damaging ways. That there's this really horrible emissions being hidden, but the fact is, even if people aren't lying as deliberately, every manufacturer designs to the test.
That's true.
Yeah,
Headlight.
Yeah, if you look at an example like headlights, I used to be a lighting engineer. I went up to an Osram kind of research thing in Rensselaer when I was doing some stuff in college. And they showed me they're designing new optics for Osram for all headlights, and they showed me the test. And they said, yeah, it's kind of funny. The test says you can't be over a certain brightness on these certain points. And all these LED or HID lights are just like, you'd see them coming into the road, you're like, oh, I'm getting blinded, like what's going on, how's that happen? And it's because everyone would design the optics to keep light out of those certain test points and blast the rest with about 10 times what the test would allow for.
So you tell an engineer what he can't do,
Yeah.
and he will make whatever it is you want happen anyway.
It's the constraints that make design so good.
Yeah.
Right. Well, normally that is. It's the frame that makes the painting so good. You know, it's the same old thing. It's like you can't have no constraints.
Right.
It's the it's the constraints that give context.
I
to the
hate
product.
driving around those headlights, by the way.
And there's been plenty of other examples that are not even hidden, like a Corvette Z06 avoids the gas guzzler tax because it skips second gear when in a certain condition that would match the EPA test. You know?
Right.
So everyone finds their way to get around it. The fact is, we're driving combustion engine cars. When you burn fuel, shit's going to come out the other end of the equation. There's no way to get around that. Like, I think one of the first articles I think you guys wrote on the drive said, we could see this as the eventual unraveling of the combustion engine.
You guys. That's a good article.
Because you can't get rid of physics. Like, you're burning material, something's going to come out as a byproduct of it. And when all this boils down, and probably some other people are exposed for cheating, we're just going to see that all these cars have much worse emissions than we think they do. There's no perfect thing to it. So, that aside down, I accept BMW or Volkswagen lied in an evil way, and made the most deliberate cheat. So back to it. What do we get? We want something fairly utilitarian. We don't want to be another SUV dude. We also want to get good mileage. There's not a whole lot.
We're obviously talking about used cars too.
Relatively used, but I'm gonna put a little criteria that not a car guy doesn't want to go for the kind of
a used car at
Oh,
the dealership.
so wait a minute.
So something with warranty.
Something at a dealership.
All right, wait a minute, because the one I was going to pick is.
Well, we'll go down that tangent. Too,
all right.
Well, we can do it now.
You guys first.
What's your tangent?
Oh,
Yeah.
I get a tangent?
Yeah, you give us a tangent.
So if I had a tangent, I would say BMW E30, and the reason why, I know that's the answer for like everything.
Yeah.
But if you've driven a diesel and you go back and you get like the best ETA engine you can find, the best 325e from 84 to whatever, 84 to 88 or whatever it is that they made them, the ETA engine was an emissions hack also. It was a longer stroke, inline six, with I think it revved to something like $4,000. So there's the perfect engine.
Yeah, but what kind of
for
emissions
someone
did it get?
pretty good. It's also really light.
I mean, compared
because
to like
it's
a
a 1984.
2-year-old Volvo, like would it? I can imagine that would stick the place up.
I
a bit
think
more
it
than
probably, maybe not. I don't know. 2-year-old Volvo. I mean, it's also light, so if obviously the engine's not working as hard. I mean, you might get all those equations to get to meet at some level that the emissions aren't terrible. Also revs to 4, right? It's a leverage engine.
Yeah.
There you go. That's mine.
It's basically a gas diesel.
It's basically a gas diesel.
Yeah.
It's an exotic tangent he went down.
Yeah.
You like that?
I liked it. I liked
Low
it.
compression.
You're
It's like a diesel. It's almost like a diesel.
All
with
right.
a
So
spark plug.
that's what we would do. My brother-in-law is not looking to wrench on this car. He needs something he can,
All right.
have a warranty and all that. So where's he end up? Subaru Outback. Not great gas mileage. They're getting those into the mid-30s now.
Yeah.
And funny enough, even though we all think of Outback as a wagon, especially like 10 years ago trim, they even call it an SUV now. Like they've
well, it's also higher and
they've pumped
higher
up the
up
wagon
that.
so
And
much
worse.
and put so much
Higher
extra
and worse.
plastic flare trim on it that it is like
Now it's just
this sort of
wider.
elongated SUV thing.
It looks
So-
like a Tribeca, like the old Tribeca.
Yeah, and probably not as good driving dynamics, so that doesn't really work for me. Another one, and I'm gonna
What about just a WRX?
shitty mileage. You're not even gonna break 30 on
40.
that.
Yeah, you're
Not an STI, just a.
Yeah, no, but the boxer motors are like kind
they're
of
not very
inherently
efficient.
inefficient. So,
Yeah, all right.
So then I was looking at Volvo V60, which even though I'm a Volvo fan, I kind of think the Volvo V60 is pretty ugly. But apparently their e-drive one does 37 miles a gallon, and you can get a couple-year-old one for $25,000. So,
All right.
pretty decent option.
okay.
Mini
That's
Cooper?
Not bad. Mini
Too small.
Cooper. Too
Not
small.
not very too small.
And,
Yeah.
and
You're
the
right.
modern
Doesn't
ones-
fit the.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the modern
And they're
ones.
too
then-
big to be small.
And then,
I know.
Oh,
yeah.
too big to be small.
A Mini Cooper would be a good thing for a diesel Golf owner. But
Yeah.
Right.
we need a little more cargo room.
So I don't actually. So we actually don't have a really good answer for that.
You know,
We do.
I,
We do.
well,
It's
so,
a
so,
Chevy
I, so
Volt.
I have one more. Oh, Chevy Volt would be good. I didn't consider that in the
Wait,
$25,000.
Volt? We were talking Bolt before.
Bolt.
We're talking Volt. Well, we could talk Volt because the Volt, if you don't have a really super long commute, and you
all
live in a
electric.
place like Los Angeles where you're in a lot of traffic, maybe.
Yeah.
The Volt is actually the perfect kind of city sort of
Plug-in hybrid
sprawly
thing.
plug-in hybrid thing.
Not great in cargo space.
Not great in cargo space. No, exactly.
So-
Probably the Bolt isn't either,
So then
but maybe it is.
I think where I would end up,
Okay.
Hyundai Veloster?
very.
Oh.
No. Controversial.
God.
I know, I'm just gonna read.
Never say that again.
I'd go back and buy another Volkswagen. A Golf 4-door.
Okay.
The
Two-liter?
the Golf wagon. It's no longer the Jetta wagon, but they made the Jetta wagon the Golf.
The four-door Golf.
Ethics
Golf.
aside, that would be a good replacement. However, I wouldn't be able to like reward the company.
I would rake them over the coals enough when buying the car that I would feel like I'm not rewarding them because there must be nothing more than they want. Taking the $500,000 cars back. If they could turn that into 500,000 sales, that would be amazing. That would turn the whole crisis around for them. And I don't know. I haven't heard of them doing this, but they seem stupid not to. Like, get people $5,000 off a new Volkswagen, something major that really entices people to do and get over the hump. And I'm with you. Like, brand loyalty
You're a
is
car guy
toast.
that people look up to, Zach.
I know, but as I said before, I think everyone is lying to some extent. They got caught out in a criminal way, but there's other shit out there, and at the moment that Golf, the new 1.8 liter gas turbo motor gets 36 or 37 miles a gallon. Probably some different cheat. I don't know. Everyone seems to have their cheat on,
They're so cynical
it's
now.
that mid-20s kind of car that does everything that you wanted the old one to do. You know?
Yeah.
And then my other pick would
Do
be.
you think that would be fun to drive though?
I mean, I would
wouldn't
expect
have
it
that-
still to have the dynamics of the last ones. There's a little bit GTI in there, somewhere.
So
All right.
what's the last pick?
Last pick would be just like f this emission stuff. I've been trying to like save the world forever. I'm gonna go buy.
An 86 Corvette.
No, I'm gonna buy. I think one of the best $25,000 cars you can buy right now is a 6.3 liter AMG Mercedes of various descriptions. So
it is
go
really
from my little sipping diesel to proper naturally aspirated huge V8.
The last AMG naturally aspirated.
and strangely you can get the E63 AMGs, the proper last one, cheaper than the C63s. Like 20 grand will buy you like a really good E63
20
AMG.
grand?
Yeah.
Well, off warranty though.
Well, yeah, but
Then
that's
you spend $4,000 for the warranty. You do like your Doug DeMuro thing, and you get your warranty on
Yeah.
it. You buy it from one of
there you go.
What's
insert
the
and-
Doug
company here.
DeMuro thing?
Well, where he buys the car and he did those videos where he bought the Range Rover and he also bought the warranty. So then he ended up spending like $50,000 on the warranty.
That's just a sensible thing to do.
Sounds
Why does
sensible.
he get awarded with that?
Because
That's what we do all the time.
Well, yeah, but
That's a Zach Mosley
he
thing.
makes videos on the internet.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
that's
right.
right.
That's what
right.
makes everyone
There you
here.
go.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, you could kind of end up back in the same place, or just say f it and go drive a 500 horsepower sedan.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then just say, you know what? I don't care about anything anymore. I'm a nihilist.
Nihilist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You buy your black turtlenex. You go,
Yeah, you double your gas budget by stealing lunch money
Slick-
from kids.
Exactly.
just
Slick
like,
your hair back, and then you
just-
speak German and
Just
become a
terrorize
nihilist.
people in that car, right? It's
Yeah.
like a tough guy's car.
Yeah,
you
you
go.
pull up
Give
the
me your
gas
gas
station,
money.
say, I'm not paying you, and you get in your car and drive away, and there's like, well, I'm not messing with that guy. You hear how loud that car was when he pulled away? So, yeah, that's it.
Be an outlaw.
Yeah.
That's the other way to go.
Be a badass.
Yeah.
All right.
One more thing. I did read GM kind of sees an opportunity here, and they're trying to bring in the Cruise diesel
Yeah.
to pick up a little bit of the business. So we'll see.
We'll see if they can do
Controversial
that.
move, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
but
think with some people just not want to be involved with diesel at
Well,
all?
but I think that other companies that make diesel cars are like, hey, we played by the rules, and our sales suffered because we had to build in this
Well, it got
other system.
yeah,
this
and the
blue-
performance wasn't
So
as
now
good as the
they're like,
Volkswagen,
screw
yeah.
you. We're not gonna. We spent all that money developing this stuff. we're going to use it. So that's, yeah, I think that's totally
I just think
legit.
it's going to be hard to. There's a population of people who thought, I always thought diesels were really dirty, and now I know they are, and they just won't consider it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope they
which,
do,
which
whatever
was
the-
always the problem.
As drivers,
in the
we like
US
them
anyways.
quite a bit, you know, but.
You talked about a bunch of cars. If you had to narrow all of that down to one car, what would it be?
I think I'd be back at the Volkswagen Golf, the new one,
That's
the
the
new
one.
Golf four-door wagon.
And you take the money and put it toward a new one.
Only after punishing the dealer I was buying it from and getting a huge discount.
'Cause
Just
doing your Zach
to,
thing.
to earn back my brand loyalty, you know.
Right.
But come on, Volkswagen, to start, you know, when you give those checks out, give them a little coupon. Say, hey, if you want to buy another Volkswagen,
There you go.
here's the way to
And
do
also,
it.
they're a wildly profitable car
Yeah.
company if it weren't for that
Yeah.
other stuff. So,
Yeah. I mean, somehow they write a check for $10 billion.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I couldn't do that. So
anyway. So what would you guys do with your TDI money? Would you go for the gas mileage and buy an electric or hybrid, or would you just say, screw it, everybody lies, the world sucks, and I don't care about anything anymore. I'm buying a 500 horsepower German depreciated sedan. I don't know. Put it in the comments below. Mike and Zach, I'm going to get this right at some point. Mike and Zach in Classic Car Club Manhattan. I'm Mike Spinelli, and we'll see you guys next time on After Drive. That's thedrive.com. See you guys later. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also hit the little notifications bell so you'll be notified when we put out another video.